It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be looking at Yuragi's Phantom Assassin, and specifically looking at the lifesteal change on the W to see if it really is enough to push Phantom Assassin over the edge and make this hero a viable carry. I mean, honestly, the answer seems to be yes, as not only did OG pick this hero in Game 3, Aster also picked this hero in Game 2, so pros are clearly valuing Phantom Assassin. On top of that, the hero's win rate in pubs has absolutely gone up, and so let's take a look at the lifesteal change of Phantom Assassin and see why it enables her to be a good carry, and take a look at how Yuragi plays Phantom Assassin. Also, I want to tell you guys that if you've been struggling with solo queue and you're looking to get to the next rank, I'm going to be able to help you. Like, literally, with the GameLeap website, I'm going to give you guys guides that are going to make it unbelievably clear on what you need to do. So if you've been stuck in the solo queue grind, you don't know what to do, and you want to become absolutely broken, but like actually you want to become much better at Dota, and you want to take it more seriously, the GameLeap website is going to help you do that. So click the link down below, I'm going to help you get to the next rank, and I'll see you there. So the first major buff that this really enables PA to do, by the way, if you don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to the lifesteal change, basically when Phantom Strike is active, which it is for 3 seconds as long as you take the Phantom Strike duration talent at level 10, which you absolutely should do. Also at level 15, he opted to take Phantom Strike cast range, which I want to quickly delve into right now. Basically, this enables Phantom Strike to be cast way further, obviously. And I think in this game it's good because there's not really a hero that threatens him physically. I mean, Bloodseeker is annoying, but even Bloodseeker can buy MKB pretty reliably at some point in the game. So this Blur Evasion talent can be cool, especially if the enemy team has like Lycan, Beastmaster, and their carries like a Sven, and they have all this physical damage. You absolutely could take it, but Phantom Strike cast range, especially when they have heroes like Grimstroke and Hoodwink, very free pick-off heroes, it's really nice to have the cast range to get on top of them. But in terms of the change on Phantom Strike, when it is active, the bonus 150 attack speed, you also get a bonus 25% lifesteal. And one instance of this being a major buff for PA is Roshan. Notably, over the course of PA's history, this hero couldn't comfortably Rosh. If it had to tank Rosh, it would get uncomfortably low and inevitably get its BKB forced out by a couple of long-range nukes. This is a massive flaw within PA's kit that caused it to be generally a B or even C tier carry in the majority of patches, but this is no longer the case. With this change and Stifling Dagger easily allowing you to pop the Lincolns of Roshan, Phantom Strike keeps you at basically full HP the entire time, making taking Rosh a much bigger strength of Phantom Assassin, almost a core strength of Phantom Assassin, which is a weird thing to say. On top of that, we're not really going to see it come out in terms of the early game, but we'll see it come out later on. In fact, in this upcoming teamfight, we'll see it play out. But the lifesteal from Phantom Strike enables you to kite in and out of fights, and in the early game, Phantom Assassin would have this problem where, let's say a mid lane Void Spirit went on you, but he didn't kill you because you had a wand, range ops, corrosion, you're pretty tanky. It wouldn't matter because it would be very awkward to jungle from there on out. You would be stuck at like a 500, 600, 700 HP range, which would inevitably make you then die to a smoke gank. A big problem for Phantom Assassin once again. You can see that sustain really was a big issue for PA throughout the game until she built lifesteal, which you don't want to buy on PA. You might be like, oh, but you want to buy Satanic. It's like, yeah, eventually you want to buy Satanic. But you don't want to buy Satanic second item. You don't want to have to spend 900 gold on a Morbid Mask when you already like have HP regen from Battle Fury. It feels very redundant, and it makes you do very little damage if you actually go that route. The major example I love in this engagement that really shows off the strength of this new change is, as we'll see here, Yuragi is actually going to get ruptured. So he goes in, makes a bit of a deep play, and Monet goes for the rupture on PA, and this is a classic counter to PA, because even if she has BKB active, if she tries to Blink Strike away, well, she gets her HP evaporated. It's pretty horrible. However, in this example, it really doesn't end up mattering. She's able to kite out, her team protects her with the pipe and just overall positioning. And now, after basically one neutral camp and a crit, she's full HP. As you'll see here, she's going to get a crit on the last attack, and she's full HP off one camp. And of course, you can heal more. It's not a long cooldown. And this is insane, right? It's crazy. So this sustained version of PA is way better now. I honestly think even a cool take before we move on to the Deso timing is going a Sange and Yasha. I think in 95% of games you have to go BKB, but even after BKB you could go a cool variation of this hero where you consider picking up a Sange and Yasha. And I only say that because you don't do a lot of damage, but Sange buffs up the lifesteal you're getting from your W. It makes you incredibly tanky, and as I was saying, you can kite in and out. And that's what Sanjin Yasha does best. There's literally not a single item that really does that better, besides maybe Satanic, which is much more expensive and has a significantly worse build-up, and that's the reason why you wouldn't necessarily go that build. So it's just something to keep in mind. Maybe I'll make a video on it in the future if a pro tries it out, but either way, let's move on. So a big part of PA as well is the shard, right? This shard has been really good for a while. Basically, it gives her an AoE damage nuke that does max health damage, extremely good at killing tanky heroes, and it breaks them for 3 seconds. It's also an AoE, so you can hit it on the multiple targets, but as we'll see, you're a pretty hard counter to Mars. I think they largely picked this game as a response to the Mars. It counters Mars mid-game and late game, and it's pretty good against Mars in the laning stage as well. It can sustain through Mars' harass with basically a stick and a ring of health. It will never get kicked out of the lane, at least from my experience. And so he goes on to the Mars, does half of his health in the blink of an eye, instantly forcing out a BKB. He does have that Aegis as we talked about earlier, and he's going to move on. Generally, you're going to look for backline targets. He goes on to the Bloodseeker here. I think it's because Bloodseeker is the majority of their damage at this point in the game. The supports, once they cast all their spells, aren't really a threat, so he went on to the Bloodseeker, but doesn't pick up the kill. Alright, as we get into our next major team fight 33 minutes into the game here, we're going to take a look at his target selection, and then really how the lifesteal actually makes a huge difference, causing the Tiny to actually die. So, as it plays out, PA is about the same as she used to be in terms of target selection. Typically, you're going to kill off the supports right away. She does have a big issue with Rupture. Like, Rupture is a huge problem for Phantom Assassin in general. But okay, as the fight breaks out, they look at Monet. They don't really have a great stun, right? They literally don't have an instant stun on OG. So it's way better if they can pick off the heroes that simply can't defend themselves, even if they don't get stunned, right? That is not Mars or Bloodseeker or something along those lines. So he's going to use the really broken vision range of Blur, right? It's crazy how Blur late game is like the best ability in the game. You have to abuse it, right? So we'll see right now he's blurred. His camera is very far up looking for the supports. This is Yuragi's camera position. Sorry, I moved it a little bit, but this is his position. He clearly is looking for the backline, looking past the Bloodseeker, hunting for the supports, finds the Hoodwink, and instantly takes him out. He does get ruptured as a result, but he's able to force the Bloodseeker away, as Bloodseeker still can't really man up. He actually considered TPing out, which I think was pretty reasonable, as Amar could have used his portal to TP the PA back in later on, and I think that's exactly what they were planning to do. Really advanced stuff. I mean, I don't know. No, I don't think there's any other team that would even consider that play. You got to be some Underlord specialist team, but either way, it gets canceled by Soulbind, and so he has to man up. And the lifesteal talent really shows off. I think part of it is actually the pipe from the Underlord that really enables PA to be so strong here. I think pipe with PA in general is extremely good, and having a pipe buyer this game from OG, even though I'm not a huge fan of the item, it did get buffed recently from 10% AoE magic resist to 15%, and the active is just so good with a hero like Phantom Assassin that basically only struggles to magical damage. And the crit there that comes out from the PA really keeps him alive. It heals him up pretty substantially. I guess the dagger also heals you when you're Phantom Strike, which makes sense. But yeah, he throws out the dagger while the Phantom Strike active is available, and it gives him about 130 HP, so it really does come into play. On top of that, he's able to kill off the bug, and because he had this little bit of extra HP, it causes the Tiny to have to commit in really, really hard. Obviously, this isn't like some game-changing play, but it really does matter. Like, the Tiny has to way overcommit for the Avalanche. He even tried to turn, barely dying, just barely dying. If he got a hit off, he might have lifestealed through the Avalanche damage and been able to turn that engagement, but Tiny has to wildly overcommit, which eventually causes him to commit in and die. And this team fight, one of the last team fights of the game, is the greatest example we're going to have of the talent really coming into play, or the change coming into play. He's going to jump in, go pretty deep for the Grimstroke, and look to take him out. Throws a dagger, which is a good decision. The Ghost Scepter on the Grimstroke dissuades a jump from the PA, as he gets jumped from Worry, forcing out quite a bit of his HP pool. From there, he uses his Phantom Knives, goes on to the Tiny. Does it go through BKB? It does. I actually didn't know that. So that's pretty cool. Phantom Knives goes through BKB. Something to keep in mind. Cool. And now as he chases down the Tiny, he's just going to be able to heal up through the auto attacks. Obviously, it's a pretty straightforward concept, but it really comes into play. Probably healing for about, I don't know, 200-300 health, right? Which really is the difference, as once again, that's about what he lives on. Definitely what he lives on. Like, straight up, old PA dies. Old PA's dead here. It's just the truth. It's a hard truth. Old PA is just dead. He definitely has healed for more than 209 health, as he then is able to get a crit, bringing himself all the way up to 790 health, and now up to 800 with a little bit of HP regen, and they win the fight, then healing up off a creep wave to full HP. Phantom Assassin is a way different hero now, and definitely has some really cool turn mechanics, as on top of that, she can solo Roche. I know we talked about it earlier, how good she is at Roshing, but she actually just solo Roches. Puck even walks by him, doesn't even bother to help. And he eventually gets Underlord TP'd in here, which is pretty cool. But either way, I just thought this was an absolutely incredible example of how much better this Phantom Assassin hero actually is. Small changes matter, guys. You know, Dota's a game of small things. It doesn't take a lot to make a hero a lot better. And yeah, Phantom Assassin is a great example of why she's going to be a pretty contested carry this patch. Do keep in mind the hero can have some laning stage issues. You kind of need to make sure that you're not going to get like hard dumpstered in the lane. For instance, I think Mars is a pretty good matchup for PA because of the fact that I don't really feel like he pressures high armor melee carries too well. He can farm against them and he will farm against them, but he doesn't really pressure them. And that's good for Phantom Assassin. It's really good for Phantom Assassin, actually. Alright, I'm ending the video here. I hope you guys enjoyed watching, but like this, it's just crazy. Like, it's crazy. He just goes on a tiny and just full heal. Okay, it's not full heal. He half heals. I don't know. It's just so wild seeing that because you're like, oh, he has a Satanic. He has like Morbid Mask and Assange. It's like, nope. Nope. That's not what it is. That is not what it is. It's just his W. That's literally it. There's nothing amping it. Titan Sliver doesn't, it's not like he even has a Paladin Sword. That is strictly the W. But alright, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and I'm out. Peace.
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the GameLeap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.